future. Get ready for the ride. We're going down to hell tonight, so strap yourself inside. There's a glaring contradiction in your world that's made of glass. Something small can shatter it and nail you to the past. The road beneath your wheels, the madness that you feel. Oh, you will pay with your life.
Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, we have special guest, Giles Lavery, lead vocalist of Dragon's Claw. Giles, what's going on?
We're here to talk about Scorpions!
Okay, don't poke your eyes out. We have no insurance.
No insurance, and back on the Metal Voice, live without a net.
All right. Scorpions' new album, Return to Forever. I have no idea what that means, but you actually told me right before this show began what it means.
Well,
it returns.
I speculate. I speculate. That they retired, or said they were going to retire. Now they're returning. They're returning to being around forever.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So this is their 18th album. Right off the bat, Giles, tell me what you think. First impression.
First impression. You know, I'm a big Scorpions fan. I love them. They're one of my favorite bands. Best act Germany has to offer by a mile. I love them. I love them. I love every album. I love all the experimental changes they've gone through. But man, you know, saying that, this record, just, I'm not feeling it.
You're not feeling the vibe.
This is a real shock to me because like I just said, I'm a big Scorpions fan. You know, this for me is like a handful of tracks that are, you know, a couple of really good tracks and a couple of okay ones, and I'm just not feeling the rest. And you know, when I heard that this was kind of them, you know, digging around some of the songs they never used in the 80s, I thought, oh well, that'll be good, you know, because it'll have that DNA of that classic era. But I'm just thinking, hey, you know, I can see why some of these tracks weren't used.
Yeah, me too. As for myself, first impression, I wanted to love this. I wanted this to be Blackout 2 or Love It Sting 2, but instead it was something like Pure Instinct 2. I'm not a big fan of this sort of, and again, you know, I get it. I know the Scorpions, you know, have a certain sound. I'm not expecting them to do a 2112. It's the Scorpions. There's going to be a lot of rock and roll. There's going to be a lot of party. There's going to be a lot of, you know, let's go out and have a good time. I get it. I know they have ballads. They've always had ballads, but there's something, I would say, lame about this album. Maybe not very dynamic. I don't know what the right word is. Perhaps the word is lame.
The songs are not there.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's the problem with this record. The single, We Built This House, is phenomenal. Great song. It really boosted my expectation sky high for the record.
Yeah.
But I'm listening. I mean, there's one 80s outtake that I can confirm. I don't know how many. I don't know what the ratio of like new composition versus 80s. Like Rock My Car, they performed in 1986 at a few festival shows, and so I know that that's definitely from back then. I was really kind of surprised to see that on the record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an okay track. Good for completists to finally have a studio version of that song.
Yeah. Well, as for myself, Charles, I'll tell you the songs I liked on the album. All for One, I liked it. I thought it was just like a classic, typical Scorpions rock and roll track. Catch Your Luck and Play, I thought that was good too. Very melodic. Klaus sounds great. Hard Rockin' the Place, you know, not so bad. And what was the Rockin' the Band? What was the Rockin' the Band? What was the title of that song?
Band.
Sorry?
Rock and Roll Band.
Rock and Roll Band. Now that song, I dug it. I thought it was, you know, pure sort of Blackout era Scorpions. And I figured, then I really listened to the verse and I go, the reason why I like this song so much is because it reminds me of Now. It's actually the same melody line as Now, of course, with different words and a different chorus. But it's very familiar, and that's probably why I liked it. As for the three ballads on this album, I don't know. I mean, Klaus, 10 out of 10. This guy can sing. This guy is a phenomenal singer.
Absolutely.
And if you love ballads, you're going to love this album because there's 3 or 4 of them on it. As for myself, I don't know, I get kind of tired of the ballads. I get tired of always it's kind of like, you know, the winds of change all over again.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been guilty of rewrite, you know, trying to kind of... I know there was a label push to kind of do it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we have songs like Under the Same Sun and You and I and all these, you know, ballads. You know, you know, every album has to have its quota of Scorpions ballads now, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that goes back to Still Loving You and beyond, you know. But... yeah, I mean, there's none of the ballads here stand out to me as like the essential Scorpions ballad, you know, that they used to be so good at, you know. I just feel that, you know, it makes all the right sounds, but the songwriting strength is not there.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
And that's shocking. I mean, they're working with the Swedish guys again. That gave us the successful, you know, Sting in the Tail was a really good record.
Yes, I agree.
This doesn't even come halfway to Sting in the Tail.
So what would you rate this album out of 10?
I mean, I couldn't go any higher than a 5.
Ooh.
And I'm speaking...
It's a Sting in the Tail from Giles.
I love the Scorpions. I loved Sting in the Tail. I loved Humanity. I even I love the poppy, some of the poppy elements of Eye to Eye. There was some really good songwriting there.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking as a lifelong, really
lover
big
of
fan,
Scorpions.
and I'm just not hearing it on this record. And to me, that's shocking.
This
is a first for me.
As for myself, you know how I like to rate stuff really high.
Yeah.
This time around, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
Wow, that's rock bottom for you, Jimmy.
Rock bottom for me.
Rock bottom, rock bottom.
In regards to Klaus's singing, I put that at 10 out of 10. As for effort, for these guys that have been around for decades, of course I put that at 10 out of 10. And, you know, they're just still keeping that heavy metal spirit alive. I give them a 10 out of 10. But as for this album, if I just took away, you know, the reunions, and not the reunions, sort of like the comeback tour, the last tour, whatever you want to call it, I take the Scorpions and their history and their legacy out of the mix, then I would say, and I just base it just purely on the album and the songs, it's definitely
That's
a
what
6 out of 10.
we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. You know, we can talk about all the different, you know, angles and whatever, but we are just talking about this album.
It's not the Grammys here. It's not the Grammys.
As an album, this doesn't stack up for me.
So there you have it. Scorpions return to Forever with me today, my special guest, Giles Lavery, lead singer of Dragon's Claw.
Let's hope the Scorpions don't review my next record.
See you next time.
Jimmy. Rock and roll.